Welcome to the Gordy and Gubbs Podcast and a special edition recorded on Gordon's birthday. Happy birthday, Gordon. I hope you're having a wonderful day over in Seattle.
Oh, yes, definitely having a happy day. The best thing I've had about my birthday was I got a cake baked by my little granddaughter, Hope, and I sat and ate it with a cup of tea, and that's a highlight of my birthday so far. But yes, 25 tomorrow, so I'm all right.
You were born on April Fool's Day. What's that been like?
Don't laugh at me. I think it's everybody put it down to the Norman Wisdom, because that's a famous song for him. And people say, well, come on, give us a tune. And I'm saying, I'm not. I said, I'm an April Fool. What do you want me to do? Compound it and make myself look even a bigger fool? But yeah, birthday today. I mean, wow, time flies.
I know you're getting on in years. You're a little bit older than me, but I have been inundated today by older fans who still remember you. You're very, very popular, Gordon, and they know that I speak to you on a regular basis. So my inbox this morning was full of messages from people wishing you happy birthday, including a guy called Peter Chappell, who I know he's gone to the game tonight at Nottingham Forest, and he's one of your biggest fans.
Well, I'd like to say thank you to everybody that has responded and come on to my Twitter. And, it's lovely to see, and it still amazes me that former players like myself and others are well thought of. And the club has had tradition, got tradition, and I don't think it's lost. And so I just say thank you very much, and I hope to have a nice birthday with the family.
Fabulous. We just had the international break, of course. We always seem to speak at the end of an international break, and we're just coming into a new round of Premier League matches tonight, United at Nottingham Forest. So we're not going to talk about the game, but I am wondering if you have any thoughts on our Europa League campaign, because really for United now it's all about whether or not we can get into Europe next season. Like Spurs, who've been having an erratic season, United badly need to win the Europa League to get into the Champions League next season. How do you rate our chances?
I think a 50-50 really, John, to be honest with you. It all depends how applied are they going into that, with it being such an important game and with virtually the only cup left in the season for them. They've got to go out there and they've got to put everything to the side and deliver. That's the bottom line, deliver. If they don't deliver, I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest with you, but certainly got to pick up not from where they last left off. They've got to really, really put themselves out in this trophy. And as I said, that's why I say 50-50. It's down to the players, it's down to the management, it's down to the sidelines. Who knows? It's a coin toss up here.
We do get a lot of stick from the media, especially for saying that our players are not good enough. I know the fans are all waiting for the summer transfer market in the hope that we're going to get some new players. But I always point to the fact that most of our players are international players and have been out on international duty over the last fortnight. And as we proved in the FA Cup final last year, we can, if we get it together, we can do well. So there's no reason on a one-off occasion. We're in the quarterfinals. There's no reason why we can't surprise people and maybe win that competition.
I think it's a case of a one-off game. That's it. Don't think of the semis or the final. Just think about getting through the next hurdle. And also, they've also got to keep up their league, shall we say, not league challenge, but their league position, which has not been too clever. To win one, lose one, win one, lose one. They've got to get consistency if they want to step up and they want to win or get through to the final and do very well in the FIFA Championship. But it all depends who turns up on the day, John. If they're having a good time, you say, I tell you what, I'm really confident. I'm not confident anymore. I really am not confident. I look to see what goes out there. I see what they're playing at. I see the way he's setting things up. yes, it's been better in the last, say, 25% better, but they're going to have to really go some to be able to pull it off. And fair, dinkums to them. If they can pull it off, great.
As a fan like you, I do live in hope that United can do something, but I'm not confident this time. I'm usually very optimistic about United's chances, but it's going to take something of a miracle, I feel, for United to win the Europa League. And in the Premier League, it's all about money. Obviously, we're not going to finish in a position where we're going to qualify for anything, but every position in the Premier League is worth about £5 million. So it is still important for United to keep on playing in the Premier League. And we've got the Club World Cup coming up over in your part of the world in America, and United have not qualified for that, even though we have won the Champions League in the past. We've got Man City and Chelsea representing English teams, and that is going to be a little bit of a money spinner potentially for those clubs. But I'm wondering, as we get close to that tournament now, what's the kind of mood over in America? Are people ready for this competition? Do they know about it? Are they interested?
That's a very good question, John, because I talk to people and, oh, is it coming? When is it coming? Oh, is it here? Where? I mean, they've got seven venues. It's just another event that's been put on. You've got the basketball that's taking up everything. You've got the golf that takes up everything. And you're looking at the new football league they have over here. So you've got, I think you're spoiled for choice on what you want to look at and who you want to go and watch. And to me, yeah, I look at it and they've been awarded it and everybody's going, rah, rah, okay, the money people are back in town again. You've got teams over here and teams throughout this tournament that you wouldn't have heard of, and they're coming over here to play. And it fascinates me because at one stage there was only the South American winners and the European winners that played to find out the world club champion. Now it's every Tom, Dick and Harry that has played in their league. And I'm even looking at some of the venues where they're being played and who's in those venues, who are playing at those venues. And I scratch my head because I've never heard of them. So for me, it's a case of, yes, it's going to come in June. Yes, it's going to take up all of June. So that means that you've got clubs like Chelsea and Man City that are represented English clubs with foreign players in it. You've also got Real Madrid, Milan, Juventus. Those type of clubs are coming over. So that means there's going to be a stress and strain on their players. FIFA have said, I think they're given another transfer window. If they're given another transfer window, that means that the squads would have to be bigger because of the stress and strain on the players. And I think it's very greedy of the FIFA and UEFA to actually ask these players to go out and play these games on foreign soil and try to win it and put a figure at the end of it, which may be 5 million or 50 million if you win it. But the health and safety of the players that are coming out here, the welfare of the players, I look at very, very seriously, because you get one injury for these top teams, and that could cost a player that cost the club 50 million to buy, that they're going to suffer. And you know, we've just had Haaland been injured. He's out for 7 weeks. Does he all of a sudden come back in June and come out with... So what they're doing is they're cramming so much in for players that there's going to be injuries and there's going to be people complaining about it all the time. So they say, well, let's give another transfer window so that they can get players in and players out, injured players we want to buy, just to make this tournament go. not
I mean,
really putting.
I was going to say, clearly, FIFA are desperate for this tournament to be successful. I know for a
Yes,
fact that they're pushing the boat out. And I was contacted this week by a company making a documentary. They've been hired by FIFA to make a documentary to promote the tournament, and they're looking for footage. The actual first Club World Cup was back in 2000 when Manchester United, of course, who just won the treble, were persuaded by the FA to take part, and we boycotted the FA Cup. But it wasn't United boycotting the FA Cup. We have to put the record straight. It was the FA, and it was a political decision that they wanted United to take part in the FIFA Club World Cup.
correct.
One of the things I'd like to mention, because I'm on a little bit of a trawl here looking for footage. I've got a couple of friends who were at the Club World Cup in Brazil, and they've got some stills and video content. But if anybody else has got any stills or video content from going to Rio for the Club World Cup in 2000, please get in touch, because there's a documentary being made to promote this tournament. But going back to the tournament itself, you mentioned Haaland, and I know FIFA are desperate to have the big stars taking part. That's why they gave a wildcard entry to David Beckham's Inter Miami team so that Messi can play. And now we've got potentially another American team taking part because Leon have been excluded because of dual ownership rules. And we've got a situation where you could have another team, LAFC or Club America. What can you tell us about those two teams?
Not too much, to be honest with you, John. They've come into the MLS scene, and not too much is known about them. Or really, I can't comment on it because I don't know where they play out of. Somewhere in LA, somewhere which seems to be Hollywood. So it fascinates me because the venues that they've used are venues that are virtually soccer venue people, but then they give a venue to San Francisco who haven't even got a professional team there. So how they're going to drum up business for that team or whoever's going to play? It to me, it's Chicago. I don't think have got a facility, but they've not been given. And it to me, it's hickledy pickledy. It's put together, and they want to make it go. And they've said, yeah, we'll get every Tom, Dick, and Harry from around the world and club to play into it. But now the question comes in. Now they've got to drum up the business, the supporters to go to these games and watch. And I've looked at the schedule. I do have the schedule, and they're all over the place. So, it to me, John, I think it could be a good thing, but I don't think the games should be as many as they are.
Looking from
And it's
afar,
just going to be.
It feels very much like a TV event, and some of these teams are very much making up the numbers. If you're not excited by the idea of LAFC or Club America taking part, I'm sure people in America are not going to get excited by them either. So it feels like they're really just making up the numbers and trying to keep people happy because it's being staged in America. So we've talked about money before, and for me this is all about FIFA putting their hat in the ring to try and get some kind of Super League type competition. At the moment, it's going to be every 4 years, but who knows what follows. But I know they're putting an awful lot into trying to make this a successful event. I know the coverage is going to be free to watch on the internet. So it's a massive gamble by FIFA. And but then, of course, they've got the they've got the FIFA World Cup coming the following year. So even if this one isn't a rip-roaring success, you've got another big event in America next year.
Yeah, they got two big ones, all being played over here in the States. The one that I'd look for most of all would be the World Cup. That's when countries come over. That's when the best of the countries are picked. And you haven't got foreign players in these teams that are playing different. As we've just rightfully said, they've come back from playing international matches with their countries. They're back into the fold of going back into their league. You've got the likes of United that are trying to sort themselves out. They've had players that go away on international duty. They don't get a rest. But but the players that don't go have maybe a week or 2 weeks rest. So it's a bit hickledy-pickledy. And then in another month or two, they've now got to come out here and as a club got to put it together and everybody says, "Oh yeah, but it's a good, bonus if you win it." Well, it's a swing and roundabouts here. What happens if one of their top players gets injured? That's just cost them 100 million, and he's out for the season. That 55 winners pot doesn't stand for much, John, because you've lost your top man, and they forget their bread and butter is their leagues.
I suppose at the end of the day, it depends on how. At the end of the day, I suppose it depends. At the end of the day, I suppose it depends on how highly you rate the competition. Because if you're taking part in a competition, it's a Club World Cup, and you want your best players to be taking part. It's no different than competing in a domestic competition. Although if you don't see it highly, but I think what's going to evaluate the competition from the club point of view is how much money they can make. And if you can make 50 million quid from winning the tournament, I'm sure they're going to give it a good push. But what I'd like to mention now is the fact that you've got other events, you got your attention on other things potentially during the summer, because obviously you work as a soccer coach and you have your soccer camps. And I went over to meet one of your friends recently because there's a club in Cheadle Hulme that travel as Manchester AFC, and they're trying to make a little bit of history where if they come to Seattle in June, which what they've kind of earmarked, they're hoping to have 4 matches, which will take them to 100 matches on tour.
Absolutely.
Going back to, I think, 60s, which is quite a nice little story. But the problem is they need a bit of sponsorship. So maybe if anybody's out there who'd like to sponsor a club coming over from Manchester, which we will feature on our channels, tell us about what sort of competition, what sort of tournament what sort of games would they take part in if they were to get over to America?
Well, it's been set for June, and it's nice because the FIFA Club World Club the tournament is on at the same time. So possibilities of them coming over to Seattle. I'm just waiting for confirmation, and it's down to possibly the sponsor. If there's a sponsor out there that wants to be involved, not only in the trip but also part of the Club World Cup, would be absolutely fantastic. I've got games arranged that at the moment would be touch wood against the Seattle Sounders reserve team. So it would really give them a really nice push if somebody would want to sponsor them. There'd be some decent, good players coming across for these clubs to have a look at as well. So we're in the middle of scheduling 2 or 3 games. I will be taking those teams, and I will be on the sidelines making sure that that the competition is the right competition. And it's lovely because what it is, it's like, as you said, the 98th, 99th, 100th game abroad would be magnificent for them. And so, I just hope they can, because if it will be great for them, and it'll be great for them to see the talent that's over in the United States as well. So it works both ways. So if any sponsors out there, please get in touch.
Absolutely. It would be a fabulous event, and I can guarantee to any sponsors who might be interested that we will give you very, very good coverage, both on this channel and also across the whole social network that we have, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So you will get well covered if you do happen to put your money behind this great event. Now, one thing I'd like to mention is during the international break, I'm lucky enough to get invited to things overseas, and I've just been over to Helsinki, where I spent some time with Alex Stepney, your former teammate, and John Aston, who were there for a tribute night, a 1968 European Cup tribute night. We watched the game with the 2 guys, and it was interesting to do that. And also, I know that you actually had some time over in Helsinki, so I know you'd love to have been there. And what do you think of Alex and John going over to Helsinki to celebrate the 68 final?
I think it was fabulous. I mean, when I was told and informed and heard about it, and I actually spoke to you on the phone when you was having lunch with them, it was great, because the Finnish people are fabulous, very, very hospitable, and the stadium, they call it Hoi Koi, which is Helsinki FC, I think. I'm not too sure. I mean, I don't speak
Well,
Finnish, but
they've got a new stadium now called the Bolt Arena, so I think it was a little bit different maybe
right,
when you were there. But when
yeah,
John went back, what was interesting was he actually played in the last competitive Manchester United match in Helsinki 60 years ago, and it was actually at the Olympic Stadium. We took him around the Olympic Stadium, and that was a nice little treat for him.
yeah. I mean, John's a nice guy. I met John a couple of times, and lovely fella, funny, dry, very good. And of course, I know Alex as well, which is great. And I'm sure that they had a fantastic time. It's such a clean country, and I think that they've had a smashing time. The experience is unbelievable. Even though you're a player and you've been all over the world, I think when you get treated to something like this, it's absolutely special. And I can't say enough about it, because I've actually been there and lived there for a couple of months playing, and the hospitality was second to none.
What made it special for me, apart from spending time with Alex and John, was having when you get to have these legends, as we call them, to spend time with the football fans. And the Manchester United Supporters Club of Finland, they were out in full force. And Jere Virtanen, who organised the whole event to relaunch the opening of his Red Room Museum, he did an absolutely fantastic job. But we also had David Beckham's dad, Ted Beckham, with us, because he's a massive Manchester United fan, and he remembers you playing, of course, because he's old like us. And I think it's always great when you get to spend time with players and fans, because for me, players like yourself, when you finish playing, you become fans yourself, don't you?
Yeah, you want to always, the clubs you play for, you want them to do well, regardless. Millwall, I'm always looking for Millwall. I mean, that's my first club. I've got a very soft spot. I mean, I look at United, and obviously I had some fabulous football there. Derby was unfortunate with an injury, but I wanted to do it. And then when I went back to the QPR, so the bottom line of it all is that these memories will never, and you've left. I mean, believe it or not, my Twitter has gone absolutely wild with people wishing me a happy birthday on an April Fool, and I look and I just it amazes me. It really does that some of these just memories, and I don't think you can buy the memories.
I think I just heard another little ping there from somebody wishing you happy birthday. The message is still flooding in. So I did promise you today we'd keep it short and sweet. And it is morning still over there, so you've got time to enjoy your birthday. So, Gordon, enjoy your birthday. Happy birthday from me. Happy birthday from all our followers and all your fans. And hopefully you'll have a great time.
John, that's fabulous. And everybody, thank you very much. Great wishes. And I wish you all the very best. And I wish the club the best of luck this afternoon. Or shall I say the evening, because I'm 8 hours behind you.
Yeah. And the match should probably be over by the time people get to watch this. But anyway, there's always another game and we can always win the next one. And the Europa League is the one we want to win, of course. So anyway, happy birthday, and speak to you again
next time. Thank you very much.